Greetings and salutations. Hi, how are you? Good summer, good afternoon, good day, although it's not technically summer until next week. My name is Jake Query. That is Derek Schultz. It is the incredibly, creatively, and appropriately named, charitably award-winning Query and Schultz program here. I can barely talk on ISC, and this is show number what, Derek?
90.
Really?
Yeah.
UNLV.
Oh, is that what we're going with? I went with
Illini.
Neil Smith.
Really?
You know when you talk about like
Steve
the
Edmonds.
Hall of Very Good?
Monte Rager, was he 90?
Oh, okay, just relax. Let me make my point. You know, like the Hall of Very Good players? Okay. Neil Smith is at like the top of that list to me.
Yeah, he was a good player.
He was a really good player, but was kind of a sidekick. I know he had some success in Denver. What was viewed as a sidekick for Derek Thomas, right? Who was like this otherworldly player.
Steve Garvey.
Okay, fine. You just pick then. Forget it. I
saying
tried to
he's-
research this and actually had like an explanation plan for why we chose Neil Smith for episode 90, but fine, you just do it.
I'm saying
whatever.
Steve Garvey
Steve
is
Garvey,
in the Hall of-
UNLV, fine, whatever.
No,
Pick it.
Would you let me finish?
Was Steve Garvey number 90?
No, he was in the Hall of Very Good.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you were actually agreeing with my. See, that's a positive contribution to the show. Thank you.
Well, maybe if you would have let me talk.
Sorry, we'll get that in post. Me being angry. Alan will grab that. 3, 2, 1. Steve Garvey's actually an excellent one, Jake. Yeah, thank you for adding that to the show.
Speaking of the Hall of Very Good and not Hall of Fame, Patrick Ewing, John Starks.
Well, Patrick Ewing is firmly in the Hall of Fame. Was part of the NBA
Would be a
75
champion if the guy on
team.
the other side of the shirt there wasn't 1 for 17 in the finals in a game.
John Starks, a one-time All-Star.
Right.
Pretty good. But I think actually these two are linked because you ask about needing stars, needing help. The second best player to play with Patrick Ewing during his career was arguably John Starks, a one-time All-Star, who was bagging groceries in Oklahoma before he got
John
signed
Starks
by the
and I
Knicks.
have one thing in common, one thing that's a little bit different. The thing we have in common is I, too, bagged groceries at one point.
Yeah, O'Malley is,
The
right?
difference being in my biggest moments in my basketball career, I rose to the occasion.
Yeah, you know, Game 6 of the 1994 NBA Finals and the intramural courts at IU are basically the same stage. You're right. So congratulations on pulling through on those.
Yeah.
Basically the same stage.
1 for 17.
Speaking of the finals, let's talk NBA Finals.
By
All
the way,
even
I'm
Steven.
super excited today because we have Lou Malnati's pizza here.
I
in the
know.
studio.
You've already housed one of our Lou's pies.
I decided I was going to.
Brought 3 pizzas in here. Jake ate one by himself.
Can you blame me?
I guess I can't. But we're going
You
to.
can't stop.
Well, I wanted
Once
you
the
to
tomato-
wait
The full tomatoes on there.
for the
and then
actual
the
segment
crust.
to begin to talk about the Lou's pies, but we will get to the Lou's pies here.
Absolutely amazing. I have before me right here.
Well, it's upside down, so make sure you hold it the right way.
It is art.
There you go.
I know, but I don't want it to slide down in the room.
Look at that. Split out.
Oh my goodness.
It smells good, huh? The whole studio now.
It's amazing.
Smells nice. Not only my natural musk, but also kind of mixed with the Lou Malnati's smell. It's like perfection. So both of those smells just overtaking everyone's senses in here. Not only you, but Alan and Greg as well.
It's a nice T-shirt. Where'd you get that
I got it as a gift.
from?
A friend.
What friend?
I don't recall. Okay. My best friend. There.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and let you in on that secret.
That was called. Leave Me
I
Alone
was
for a While.
worried about doing NBA Finals stuff because, look, Game 5's tonight, right? We're taping, and the series, I think you'd agree with me, hinges on this game,
Yeah,
largely.
whoever wins Game 5 is going to win the series. So if you're watching this on Tuesday,
Well, I'm not ready to go there.
last night's winner is now going to win the NBA championship. Congratulations to the winner of Game 5.
If Golden State loses tonight, I think they
Silence
lose
your phone.
the
Why
series.
Is it dinging over there?
Oh, I need to silence my computer because it's linked to my phone. There we go. If Golden State loses tonight, I think they lose the series. If Boston loses tonight, I still think they can win the series.
Game 5.
Yeah, Game 5. Sorry. But you had this otherworldly performance from Steph, like one of those memorable NBA Finals performances with 43 in Boston in a game I think you agree that they had to have.
Right.
But, Jake, what I kind of keep going back to, and I'm not diminishing the Warriors' chances to win this series. They absolutely can win. But to me, I feel like Steph has to be special every night just to give them a chance, much less to win.
what
Like
we know
Boston
is-
is
but
the
they're-
better team to me through 4
But
games.
that's like saying in order for the Bulls to win, Michael Jordan has to be unstoppable.
Yes, but I guess
I said in the beginning Boston in 6. So
my surprise here, and I picked the Warriors, my surprise here was just how much margin for error Boston has compared to Golden State.
well, you look at it this way. Boston has, we talked about this, Tatum, Brown, Smart, okay? Golden State has Steph, Thompson, and then probably Wiggins or Poole.
Well, it's still Draymond. You think of being in that core,
I'm talking about
not playing like that.
But I'm talking about in a scoring, 20.
Okay, sure.
70
Offensively,
through 3
yes.
But the auxiliary players, the Grant Williams, the Robert Williams, the Al Horfords for Boston have really played well. At times, each of the auxiliary players for Golden State have played well. It just doesn't feel like it has happened with the consistency that the supporting cast for Boston arrives. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But still, even with the stars, like Tatum was 2 of 9 in the second half of that game, and it was right there for the taking for Boston. Like, he could play poorly, and he had a bad game 4, and they could still be within shouting distance of a win. I mean, I know that looks like a 10-point game, but you watched the game, 3 minutes left, it was a coin flip. 2 minutes left, it was a coin flip, until Steph started kind of going crazy there. I think I said this on last week's show, I don't think Draymond Green can continue to be a non-entity in this series and Golden State win 2 more games.
I would agree with that.
And he's been a non-entity on both sides.
The law of averages says, Derek, if Golden State is to win Game 5, I mean, reality is this, it's a best 2 out of 3, and Golden State plays 2 of them at home. Right?
Yeah, but we just saw Boston essentially do this, where they lost Game 5, we're down 3-2.
They've won 8 games.
1 Game 6, 1 Game 7.
Off of a loss, right?
Actually, wait, no, they lost Game 6, and then they won Game 5.
They have won 8 games in these playoffs coming off of a loss.
Yes. I'm trying to think of how that Miami series was so forgettable, and I know it was like 2 weeks ago. I should remember it, but I think that's – I think I misspoke. I don't think that's actually how it played out. But my point is that I think the Warriors – can't survive to lose home court again. You got your 1 win in Boston. I don't think you got your other win in Boston.
Bigger in that shirt.
No, I disagree. This actually hugs me in all the right spots here. It's a little tight in the chest area because it's like
the sleeves are a little short.
I feel a little embarrassed because it shows maybe a little bit too much. Like I'm not looking to show you up, but like when people watch the show and you see it on TV, especially if you have like a large, like if you've got a 50+ inch screen TV, I'm dwarfing you right now.
When I worked at Channel 6, Ed Sorensen had a show called Sports Nuts on Sunday nights. And one night they
had a local sports show on local TV?
Can you believe
How
that?
long ago was that?
A guy came in studio that was going to set the world record for most bench pressed by a little person. And now that I think about it, I've never seen you and that guy in the same room together.
Well, if you want for like charity or something, and I'm not even really comfortable doing this because we don't need proof that this could happen, we could do one of those contests. Like a lifting contest if you want to.
What do you bench?
The sad thing is that you're like 50 or 60 pounds heavier than me, and I'm 100% certain that I could bench whatever you could bench.
What do you bench?
I bench really well.
What do you bench?
Yeah, really well.
So you don't bench?
No, I do. I usually do free weights.
Not unless they're free
No,
weights.
you don't do machine. No real lifter does machines.
Do you have a spotter?
No, I don't need a spotter. I use that machine that has the clicks on the back of it, so then you don't have to worry about it. It's got a name where it holds the bar for you. That machine. I mean, it's not even really a machine, but instead of doing straight free weights.
That's a Nautilus weight.
Oh, I thought you meant like the bench, like the ones that are attached to the machine. I don't use that one.
Well, you just said that you
No, these are free weights, but they hold the bar for you, so I don't need a spotter because I could just flip it over. I flip the clamps over.
Now, do you ever, if you're walking through the gym, do you ever have a guy that asks you to spot for him? Because I had a guy that asked me to do that, and then he yelled at me because he said I wasn't doing it right.
I lift weights at the JCC at like 11 a.m. on Wednesdays. I'm the youngest person in there by at least 3 decades.
Okay.
So no, but when I was at Planet Fitness or at Cardinal Fitness, I used to get asked all the time, and it was, spot me, bro, spot me. And it's just.
What about work in?
It's weird. I don't go at high traffic times, so I don't have to worry about anybody ever talk. I don't want anybody to talk to me. Like what happens sometimes at the gym is people.
Do you listen to music?
I do. No, I read books, audiobooks, while I lift. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing says pump you up like some Ulysses pumping through the AirPods.
I'm reading a book about the burning of the White House during the War of 1812, where British troops landed and like set the White House on fire.
I saw the trials about that on CNN.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. I think you're thinking of something
fake news.
different. This is 200 years later.
you listen. So like some guys like, and later President Jackson arrived, and you're.
But I listen at double speed, so it's more like Alvin and the Chipmunks are reading the book to you. But yes.
So you're not reading anything.
Oh, I am. It's called an audiobook. You ever heard of it?
Yeah, but you're not reading it. You're listening to it.
I'm reading the book.
You're not reading anything. Reading.
It's
is
the same
actual,
thing.
No,
I'm retaining the information.
So what, did you read Titanic?
No, that was not on my list.
Did you read Forrest Gump?
It's mostly been Civil War books, and then
did you read Michael Jackson's Thriller?
I read a 25-hour book about Malcolm X's life.
You listened to it.
I read a 20-hour book about Chernobyl and the disaster. It's a lot of human tragedy stuff. Harvey Milk, I read a book about. And people or figures that were either like assassinated or had some sort of tragic ending. It just fascinates me. Martin Luther King.
You're like, yeah, John Wilkes Booth.
I read a whole book about Lee Harvey Oswald.
You listened to it.
Yeah.
I've been to Lee Harvey Oswald's gravesite.
Actually, no, not Lee Harvey Oswald. James Earl Ray. Sorry.
Okay.
Hellhound on His Trail. Really good book.
Which you listened to.
Yeah. No, I read. Yes. I read it.
What do you think the Pacers are going to do in the draft?
I honestly don't know, and that's exciting.
What have you been reading about that?
I think it's going to be what's going to happen to me is you have this top three, right? Holmgren, Banchero, Smith, and then it seems like every mock has Murray going 4 to the Kings, and then Ivy is the next best player available. So what I'm concerned with the Pacers of being at 6, I used to not think that was a big deal, that they're not going to have a shot at any of those 5 guys.
Well,
But Mathurin seems to be the one that everyone is linking to the Pacers. He can shoot. He's a plus defender. He might be a little bit of a lower ceiling player than, say, the A.J. Griffith kid from Duke or some of these other, the kid that was supposed to play at Kentucky, Sharp. But he's a guy that can come in and contribute right away.
Shaden Sharp and A.J. Griffin, Johnny Davis, that grouping. I think in this draft, Derek, you clearly have, in my opinion, you've got 2 players that I think are can't miss. Jabari Smith and Paolo Banchero. Those 2 players are plug and play. They're going to be great players, I think.
You really like Jabari Smith.
I do.
Yeah.
You have 2 that have very high ceilings, to use that term, but it's not a guarantee that they reach to that ceiling. But if they do, they can be transcendent players. And that's Chet Holmgren and Jaden Ivey. Then you have, to me, 4 guys that are safe, rotational players. Mathurin, Murray, probably Griffin. So actually 3. And then wild cards. Sharp is a wild card. Daniels, the kid out of the G League, is a wild card. They have high ceilings, one would think, but you don't know as much about them. So it just comes down to, if you're the Pacers, do you just want to go get yourself a nice Honda Accord? Or do you say, you know what, we walked in with this much money. Instead of the Honda Accord, I'm going to go with that Jaguar over there that I think looks pretty good, and we'll see if it can stay out of the shop. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's tough because I don't think, and this is just my personal opinion, I don't see like a Ja Morant, Zion Williamson, hell, Anthony Edwards type prospect here. So
I think a lot of people would
conventional wisdom would be like, well, you're at 6. Would you think about trading up? I don't think there's anybody really to trade up for. You know, I think there's a upper crust, like we just mentioned in the draft, but I don't think there's somebody that is like, oh my God, I have to have Chet Holmgren.
You had the Lou Malnati.
I know, it's really good. Really, really good. I think what hurts the Pacers, Jake, is that Cavs pick not conveying, because it'd be nice to have that late teens pick with the 6th pick. I'm wondering if they're going to use Brogdon or even Buddy Hield as a trade piece with somebody who needs someone to come in right away to get into the late lottery.
Here's how I look at this in terms of trading up. The Pacers are sitting at 6. Let's say that they wanted to trade into the 3rd pick, which means they would have to give up a player. Give me a player they would give up.
Brogdon?
Brogdon. So if Brogdon if you were scoring everybody on what their value is to your franchise, and Brogdon is a 7 or whatever, is the difference of what you're giving up a greater than the improvement you make from 6 to 3?
Yeah, probably not. Like, I don't think there is. If it's Mathurin, do you think that there's a huge difference between Mathurin and
Ivy?
one of the three? Yeah, Ivy, Holmgren, Smith, or Banchero? Because I really don't.
Right.
I think that those players are better prospects than Mathurin, but I don't think there's like some huge chasm.
What's interesting about the draft?
Sorry, I keep doing this with my hands on TV. It's bad.
I'm pulling this up here. What's interesting to me about the draft that shows the wild card nature of the NBA draft? Give me a year off the top of your head in the last 10 years, 15 years.
2010, the Paul George draft.
2010.
Yeah.
Okay. So the 2010 NBA draft. We want to go with 6th pick or 3rd pick?
Let's go with the 3rd pick.
Okay. Here's the 2010 NBA draft.
I think I might know it.
Go ahead.
Derek Favors?
Correct. Nice player.
Yeah, he's fine. He's one of those guys that averaged like 16 points a game for like 15 years, right?
6th pick.
I don't know.
I'm going to mispronounce this guy's name.
Was it the guy that washed out with the Magic? What was his name?
Epeudo.
Oh, Epeudo. Wow. Baylor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I really wanted the Pacers to draft him. Pacers, apparently, that draft had a deal on the table. Number 2 and Danny Granger, number 10 and Danny Granger to get to where Philly was and get the number 2 pick. And they were maybe going to take Evan Turner.
That's who
Yeah.
Philly took, Evan Turner.
And John Wall, right?
Give me one
but
more
Paul
year.
George is the best player in that draft.
Give me one more year.
Let's do 2013.
2013 NBA draft. Okay. You would go in 6th or 3rd?
3rd.
Say. Otto Porter.
Yeah. Who's playing?
In the NBA Finals, Derek.
As a bit player, but yeah.
6th, Nerlens Noel.
Yeah, just a guy. Nerlens Noel is a bench defender, whatever guy.
Jason Bush named his cat after him.
Total normal human behavior, yes.
Okay.
So the draft is next Thursday, 6, 31, and 58. I think this Griffin kid from Duke is the other. He might be the best shooter in the draft.
Yeah.
Interesting possibility.
By the way, we do want to thank a couple of sponsors here on this edition, number 90. Hard to believe we've made it to 90 for Query and Schultz on ISC. First off, Bailey and Wood Mortgage Lending, which, of course, is our title sponsor of this program. We are always appreciative of that. You want your money to stay right here in Indiana. You're talking about a family-owned business. We'll tell you more about Bailey and Wood. And, of course, we're in the Lou Malnati studio. Fabulous, fabulous pizza now available in Broaderpool. They've got dishes beyond just pizza, but the pizza itself, the Chicago style that you're used to driving 3.5 hours for, no more. You can do it right here in central Indiana. We'll get to more on that coming up.
Going to eat some next segment.
A lot next segment because I'm very hungry. But right now it's time for Love That Play, brought to you by the good guys at Love Heating and Air Conditioning. Love-HVAC.com is their website. 317-353-2141 is their telephone number. Again, love-HVAC.com. Over 100 years in business in central Indiana for Love Heating and Air, now a 4th-generation family business. That's because of customer service, commitment to that customer service, 24-hour on-call maintenance, and, of course, great product. It goes without saying. Love Heating and Air, who have been on board with Derek and I really from the very beginning, and they're still around.
Hopefully for the next 100 years with us.
I'm not going to be here in 100 years.
Yeah, I probably will.
And I will not be here with you. Yeah. I can assure you of that.
Okay, well. I mean, you can tell just from our physical condition who might have a chance of being here and who wouldn't.
Okay, here, let me go ahead and shrink this 7 times in the wash.
Like that try?
Why are you grimacing?
I'm flexing my tries.
Tries?
Yeah. Triceps.
Okay.
Short for try. Okay. Or short for tricep, sorry.
Our Love That Play, our favorite play of the weekend is, Derek?
I thought the Steph Curry dagger, Warriors were up 3, sort of kind of hinging there with about 1:45 left, and the defense was good, I thought, from the Celtics on him. Like, he was just making incredible shots, which Steph Curry is known to do. Right. I know I'm not telling anybody anything new, but Derek White had a hand in his face, and he just got that little sliver of space, and it just felt like the TKO blow because Boston was just – they were trying to win the game in the final couple of minutes, it felt like. Like, they kept going for, like, the kill shot, and they kept clanking out, and then pushing that lead to 6, it just felt like it took all the air out of the crowd in Boston and ultimately led to the Warriors.
I'm going to go with, Derek, a bit of a curveball here. I don't follow, although it is interesting to me, I think more and more people are starting to follow college baseball and softball. Yeah. I thought the softball World Series was fun. Oklahoma, they just hit another home run, by the way.
They're crazy.
Tennessee was like 146-3 this year.
Yeah,
right?
Really good. 57 wins.
Many people believe the greatest baseball team, certainly of the. I mean, who am I to say, right?
Yeah.
But apparently one of the great baseball teams of all time at the college level. Cocky as hell. A lot of grand.
Very brash, very celebratory.
A lot of bat flips, just kind of jackasses. And Notre Dame just cleaned them up and said, "Get out of here!" And they got
in Knoxville.
They got booted out of the College World Series.
Yeah, in Knoxville.
Stay home and rock.
Which I know. I'm sorry for Alan Hughes, who's kind of sort of a pseudo UT fan or Vol fan.
Houston?
I guess I should say.
Naturally a Tennessee fan.
Alan, our guy, Alan Hughes.
I know, but Alan Houston.
Yeah, I loved Alan Houston.
Right.
Yeah, had one of the greatest Knicks playoff performances ever. Game 6, 99 against the Pacers. Went for 36 points and held Reggie Miller to 3 of 18 shooting in a Knicks win.
Sounds kind of like John Starks.
Knicks, yeah. John Starks, who also knocked out Indiana a couple of times, including in 94, Game 6 at MSA, had a huge game to save the Knicks season, and then, of course, they went on to win Game 7 and advance to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Do you know, by the way, what Village Pantry and John Starks have in common?
What's that?
Village Pantry never closes either.
He actually had like a really good story of a guy that just kind of found his way into professional basketball and carved out like a 12-plus year career and was an all-star. It's kind of sad to me that people only remember the missed shot against Houston in Game 6 or the disastrous Game 7 or some of the battles with Reggie Miller where clearly he was the lesser player.
The headbutt?
Yep. A series that the Knicks won.
This dude did this?
But I'm telling you, like, can you imagine if the Pacers had actually won that series in 94? Like, you probably never even you never probably comprehended what that would have been like for the Pacers to win. It on the opposite side of things. Think about how awesome that would have been for the Pacers. That would have been a complete catastrophe for not only 12-year-old me, but for the Knicks in general.
It was a catastrophe a year later for the Knicks.
Because, yes, but because the Bulls were out of the way finally, like it was a fait accompli that the Knicks were going to win that series. Like I remember when Reggie went for 25 in that fourth quarter, I didn't sleep that night. Because I was like, this can't be happening. Like, there's no way that the Knicks are going to lose to this team, right? Because the Pacers were like the 4 seed or something, right? That year, I think the Knicks had swept them in the regular season. I wasn't 12. I was 11. I was 12 for Ewing's missed finger roll.
Were you? Oh yeah.
I was in Mr. Cavanolo's 5th grade. Went in the next day, and Coleman Lamb said, "Hey, Derek, how about those Knicks?" And I threw my shoe at him. We were at recess, and I got not detention, but I had to stand in the corner. And think about it. It was a horrible day. The Knicks were on the verge of elimination. I'm in timeout, essentially. It was awful. One of my worst days in school ever.
The finger roll was the elimination.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Game 7. And that finger roll would have tied it.
Should have gone for the done.
Ewing hit the game winner in Game 5 that kept the series alive. People forget that, but it happens. Yeah. I didn't expect to relive all of these 90s Knicks Pacers stuff.
You ready to eat
first
pizza
segment
next?
of the show? Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Our friends at Lou's brought in some pies, and we will eat on the air, which is Jake's favorite thing to do when we come back.
I promise we will make Derek have a little decorum here.
It's Query and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Stick around.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Welcome back. It's Bailey & Wood. Mortgage Lender presents Query and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Hope you're having a great week. Alongside Jay Query, I'm Derek Schultz. Thanks so much for joining us. This portion of the show from the Lou Malnati's Pizzeria Studio brought to you by our friends at Lou's. Well, we already saw the box, so I'm going to show the pie.
Okay.
Show the pie. So Jennifer, our two friends over, not only at Lou's, but at Porchlight PR, who have been part of our team and partnered up with our show. We really appreciate them making that happen for us. They decided to deliver us some pies here in the studio.
Derek, you got to look at the camera and do this.
Oh,
so
sorry.
You can see it. Do you want me to do it?
Here, in front of my mic. Look at that guy.
Okay,
I don't want it to slide out, so I'm trying to hold the bottom of it. But these are just the small pies. Okay, fine. You do it then. God, everything that I do is wrong.
Look at this.
Doing it the wrong way.
Look at this. Is beautiful.
That is the exact same way that I held it.
No.
There is no
Look at
difference
that.
between how you're holding
Look
it and
at
how I
that.
held it. None at all.
Fabulous.
The Greenwood store now open. So rejoice, Southsiders. You can get your Lou's on the South Side in Greenwood now 4 Indianapolis area locations. Greenwood, new one. Broad Ripple, dine-in, the lone dine-in location right now. Awesome. Great
friendly.
patio weather. Maybe not today with the humidity.
Bring your
but
doggy, right?
Normally great patio weather. West 86th Street and Carmel are the 4 locations. Sorry, I don't know why I'm just talking with my hands a lot today. LouMalnatis.com if you want to check that out. But Jake, they got something else fun to talk about. Not only delivering the pies here, but they're doing a pizza run. So Pizza Run Indy with our friends at Lou's. Sunday, July 31st. Go to the Broad Ripple location. It begins at 10, 5K run walk, and a portion of the proceeds benefit our friends at Gleaners Food Bank. Great local cause for Indianapolis. You run through the village in Broad Ripple, so right there through the heart of Midtown. You run west, and then you loop back around to Lou's, and you get a complimentary slice and an ice-cold beverage at the finish line.
It's like they're the size of this, the tomatoes in there.
Registration now open, by the way, pizzarunindy.com. And you don't even have to run. You can just
That
go
has
and
to be the freshest tomato ever.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Now, Derek,
I'm actually going to go lefty here.
I'm gonna
It's hard
ask
with
that
all the
you-
cheese.
I'm going to ask that you please don't eat with your mouth full. Chew before talking.
Oh, my God.
Again, a little decorum, professionalism.
It's so good.
It's very good.
The buttery crust.
It's very good.
I actually think, as much as we talk about the cheese and the crust, I actually think the fresh tomatoes, like you said, are my favorite part.
Right. The tomatoes.
Like fresh out
Like
of
when you take a bite
right
of it,
there.
the tomato is so rich, so big, so plentiful that it's like it just hits you. When you least expect it, just bam. Just hits you, the tomato.
I have no off switch with this.
Yeah, well.
It's so good. Do not throw it at me again. I'll choke on the buttercrust. You're lucky that I'm eating a delicious pie and I'm in a great mood. Or else I would have put you on the floor for doing that to me.
It's pizza.
Because actually that was pie. Lou's even says it's pie.
Is it called Lou Malnati's?
LouMalnati's.com.
Pizzeria.
A pizzeria that makes pies.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is. All right.
That's fair.
Agree
So
to
the
disagree.
Big Ten's realigning, is that right?
Well, we don't know that yet exactly.
Don't mind if I do.
You may have seen in May, this was kind of, I don't want to say like a throwaway news story because I saw it and I think most people saw it and knew that this conversation was going to come. But the NCAA is not requiring anymore the divisions to take place. And some of the leagues, the Pac-12 notably, has already said, all right, fine, no divisions. So the Pac-12 had, I don't even know do you know what the Pac-12 divisions were called? North and South, was it?
Maybe.
I think, okay, yeah, so it was North and South. So no more divisions there. They're just going to take the 2 best teams in the conference, and those 2 teams are going to play for the conference championship. This isn't really a basketball discussion. This is more of a
Ohio State, Michigan, who will be playing in the next 12 Big Ten title games.
Fine. Are you against that? Would you rather see Ohio State beat Iowa by 40 or Michigan beat
But does it devalue
Northwestern by 5 touchdowns?
Here's the problem, though. If the Big Ten is going to send a representative to, like, for example, if Ohio State and Michigan play in the final game of the regular season, Ohio State wins, but both go to the Big Ten title game, and then Michigan wins, who do you send? Who is your representative?
Maybe both.
Or neither, because they would be seen as canceling one
Yeah,
another out.
but I think the whole incentive for the Big Ten or
mind
any
if I
of
do.
these leagues is that you have a better chance now of putting 2 teams in the playoff if you don't make this restrictive. Because if Michigan, let's say Michigan's undefeated, and they play Ohio State in the finale, and Michigan's number 1, and they lose by a field goal to Ohio State. Well, now Michigan has one loss by a field goal to Ohio State. They don't have a Big Ten title. So the college football playoff committee is like, well, we probably aren't taking Michigan. Whereas if they come back and then win the Big Ten title, they're probably getting in the playoff, and so is Ohio State if they're also undefeated. So I just think that the SEC is the only place where this gives me a little bit of pause because their division alignment and their championship game seems to make sense to me. Like Georgia is a power program. They're in the East. Florida often in the 21st century has been a power program. They're in the East. Alabama, we know, power program West. LSU West. Auburn West.
Why don't they do this?
There's balance.
Why don't they realign every year based on the previous year's rankings?
You have to set these schedules in advance.
I understand but so the schedule doesn't change, but just in terms of the records setting up for the Big Ten title game. So you have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 in one side, 2, 4, 6, 8, in the other.
I don't know. I think I don't want to overcomplicate it. I kind of get where you're coming from. But to me, it just makes a lot of sense to just do a straight round robin. Like,
can I ask a frank question?
Why is it fair, Jake, that Iowa only has to go to Ohio State once every 6 years?
Understood.
And Indiana has to go. And I'm not just making this about IU, but Indiana has to go there every year.
Can I ask a frank
question? Or
question?
every other year. Yeah.
Is the honeymoon over for Tom Allen?
Oh, yeah. You don't think so?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It's absolutely over. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to get fired tomorrow, but it's absolutely over.
Is it a big year for him?
If Indiana goes 2-10 this year, you have to fire him. You have to. Now, what I'm worried about, Jake, and I don't even know if I'm worried about this. This is what I think is the most likely scenario, and I've always felt this. I think Indiana's going to get back into this Kevin Wilson, early Tom Allen stretch where they're just hovering around bowl eligibility.
Right.
And some fans are going to be like, yeah, you know what? Cool. Let's go back to the Pinstripe Bowl. And some fans are going to be like, wait a minute. We want to go past that. Right. And that's the problem that you're going to run into.
It's the problem they ran into the Bill Mallory and Joe Tiller era.
It'd be a lot easier for Indiana fans if Tom Allen was just terrible this next year and then you gas him out and you get somebody else. But I don't think that. I think a lot of people want to point to 2020 as an outlier, the COVID year, and I get that. But you could just as easily argue in the last 10 years of Indiana football, last year was an outlier too.
But who's their quarterback going to be? Tuttle?
They're going to have a competition and figure out what's going to happen.
I don't know. What's their roster look like?
I haven't even
Ray Strogan
gotten and thought about it.
Thumb up,
honestly.
sideways, meaning lateral movement, or thumb down on Indiana's roster this year. Lateral.
Yeah, I think they're whatever. I think they're going to be projected to be a 6-ish win team. Right there on the line. And a lot of that has to do with the division, unfortunately.
Purdue, on the other hand, Jeff Brom, I thought, flew off the radar. Jeff Brom did a speaking engagement with the Louisville, down in Louisville a couple months ago.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah.
He was asked about the Louisville job, and he basically said, last time the timing wasn't right, but now, you never say never.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I mean, I appreciate him being honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, that surprised me a little bit because to me, saying no to Louisville the first time meant you were either going to take that job or you weren't going to take that job.
Right.
And not taking it then meant to me that I guess you never say never, right? That you weren't going to take it. But I follow some of the Louisville guys on Twitter, and it sounds like Satterfield and that group, they're starting to recruit better, so there's maybe some positive momentum for that program.
Do you say Louisville or Louisville?
Louisville.
Say it again?
Louisville.
Okay.
I don't think it's that difficult. People seem to struggle with New Orleans as well. New Orleans. New Orleans. No, it's just New Orleans.
What about New Orleans?
New Orleans.
What about New Orleans?
I mean, if you're Cajun or whatever, that's kind of a joke.
What about New Orleans?
Yeah. No, it's not New Orleans. That's the wrong pronunciation.
Do you say New Orleans?
New Orleans. I just said it.
So you say Linz.
I say it correctly. Yes, New Orleans.
You don't.
New Orleans, Louisiana.
You don't pronounce the E.
No. And I know some people say Louisville, but really it's Louisville.
Right.
Yeah. It's not hard.
You know the old joke, don't you, Derek?
What's
How
that?
do you pronounce the capital of Kentucky?
How?
Frankfurt.
Oh, is Frankfurt really the capital? I didn't know that. I was like, wait a minute, I don't think Louisville's the capital, but I didn't think Frankfurt was. I was thinking, is Lexington the capital?
It's Frankfurt.
Yeah.
It's a cool town. Cool little town.
It is a cool town. You know what else is a cool town?
Kentucky?
Yeah, I've been there.
What were you doing in Frankfurt, Kentucky?
We go to all kinds of weird random places.
Okay.
Yeah. Just has like a courthouse and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool
But I
town.
didn't know it was the capital.
Well, what did you think the courthouse was? Just a town
I mean,
courthouse?
Lebanon has a courthouse. That doesn't mean
Okay,
that it's
fair
the capital of Indiana.
What do you think the big state house with the dome on it was that said state capitol? Do you think that was just...
I'm not a very, my wife makes fun of me. I'm not a very observant person. Like something has to be in flames in front of me for me to be like, oh, wow, there's a fire.
like this show at times?
Yes. Well, you're the one that's igniting it. Speaking of cool towns, I went back to Bloomington for the first time in forever on Saturday. Had a nice little Saturday. And have a story about that. We'll talk about that. Also, more food. Our hero and hoagie of the week from Hoagies and Hops comes your way when we return. It's Query and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Everybody's getting hungry watching this shit.
College wasn't built for me.
It didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Welcome back to Query and Schultz, show number 90 here on ISC Sports Network. My name is Jake Query, Derek Schultz, the other fella in the very small shirt that you see on this program. What are you doing? You look like the guy from the Pabst Blue Ribbon caricature when you do that.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I had a PBR light up sign in my room at Right Quad.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's pretty
It was
cool.
pretty sweet. Yeah, I got it at a flea market in New Milford, Connecticut the summer before I moved out to IU.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you turn it on?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Turn it on all the time. Yep.
Okay. I'll bet your who was your dorm roommate?
Dan, who went to that all guys school in St. Louis,
They're
Chaminade.
They're all guys.
He went to Chaminade, and he was dating a girl that was at SLU, his high school sweetheart, and then he ended up leaving IU to go to SLU to be with her, and then he found out the entire year she was seeing somebody else. So, yeah. Dan was a great guy, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you had the room to yourself?
No, he was there the full year. The second year, I had a room to myself. They moved a kid in with me about halfway through, and he lasted 3 weeks, and then one day all of his stuff was gone. But I had spilled a beer in my computer, and so I was using his computer a lot.
What year were you?
I was a sophomore.
That's not 21.
I was okay. The statute of limitations and all of that. So it was actually a Dr. Pepper that I spilled in the computer tower. I had knocked it over one night, and the top of it got cracked, and then I spilled a drink in it by accident. I knocked one over. And so his name was Eugene, and I was like, Eugene, can I use your computer? And I don't remember if he acknowledged yes or no, but I started using his computer, long story short. And then like 2 weeks later, his parents came, and all of his stuff was gone.
Did you know what I bet happened?
What?
I'll bet just like your parents' computer, did you freeze up his computer with a virus because you were looking at adult videos?
No, nothing like that. I was
that happened on your parents' computer.
I was on
right?
Kazaa and LimeWire. I was downloading a lot of stuff on his computer, which might have caused some problems, but it was all music.
Oh, illegal music.
But I'd be on it, and he'd come back, and I had headphones on, and sometimes I didn't even know he was in the room.
Yeah. Eugene just got out of Guantanamo like 7 months ago
And then,
for all
yeah.
the downloaded music, right?
And then he would tap me on the shoulder and be like, "Can I use my computer?" And then I would allow him to use it.
Now, when you had the headphones on, were you reading?
Reading what?
Books.
No, usually I was on AIM chat with Blondie Gal or whoever else.
AIM chat?
Yeah, AOL Instant Messenger. It was real hot in the very early 2000s.
Okay.
So it was the next thing after AOL.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it was great. I had a horrible. I was on academic probation. I had
Where
a
did
terrible
Blondie Gal
year.
go to college?
Sophomore. I met Megan, a girl from Jersey, and I ended up dating her. And I was missing class a lot. We were playing beer pong like 4 nights a week. It was actually not a good year for me.
Where did Blondie Gal go to college?
Udell, Delaware.
Ah, okay.
Blue Hen.
Yeah.
Yeah, huh.
Okay. Is it time for our Hoagie Hops?
It is. So this is
Hero of the Week?
going to be a little bit of a make-your-own sandwich here because I separated all of this. Coming up to the studio, so I've got the delicious bread shipped in from South Jersey.
Can you not paw one side of that, please?
And I got the delicious provolone on that. And then it is the shipyard.
Okay.
So tuna salad.
Okay.
So tuna, which I have right here, house-made tuna salad. Christina makes in-house. A little cheese here, a little parm on top. Lettuce, tomato, shaved onion. And you don't like oil, right? I love oil. I'm a big oil guy. I could just drink that oil.
I prefer oil over your oiled hands all over the
So
bread.
I just wash my hands. Everything's fine.
Just saying.
This is actually good that I don't have the mustache anymore because sometimes I have problems with tuna sandwiches in my mustache. All right, here we go. So loading this up here. Get all the tuna over on each side.
I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm going to need
Sometimes
a knife.
I ask myself, Jake, you're 49.
This
Nearly a
smells
half century
amazing.
old. And this is what it's come to. Sitting and letting the little paws of Derek Schultz all over the sandwich.
Do you want
preparing for
onion?
me what's that?
Do you want onion?
No onion.
Okay.
However, would you like to know how great the Hoagies and Hops sandwich is? Well, all you need to know is that I'm allowing Derek Schultz to prepare mine. Yes, that's a disgusting thought until it's offset by the fact that we're talking about a succulent, fabulous sandwich on absolutely wonderful East Coast style bread. Because when you're talking about Hoagies and Hops, you're talking about a sandwich shop that is true to the roots of Pennsylvania and Philadelphia specifically, where sandwiches are like no other, especially when you're talking about of the foot-long variation. So I'm willing to offset the fact that Derek and his little paws are all over the sandwich.
Let me show everybody this beautiful thing here.
That you did make a good looking
Right?
sandwich, yes.
Make your own sandwich here. This is a shipyard. I got to cut it in half, which is going to be difficult. Let's see. How do I want to do this?
We're back to the pawing portion
Well,
of the
no,
program.
I'm only clenching my portion of the sandwich here, and then I will give you yours.
Okay.
Sorry, it's just this little. I'm actually using one of the Lou Malnati's knives, and the bread's so nice that. All right, here we go. Here's yours. I don't want to touch it, so I'm going to put it on the paper.
You don't want to touch it.
Here you go. There you go.
No, wait a
Wanna
minute.
be
This
sanitary?
is the side of the sandwich that you just said. I'm only pawing my side of the sandwich.
No, I don't. I don't
You
think
used
that's
your
right.
left. What
Yeah.
what hand did you use to cut the sandwich?
Well, I'm righty.
Yeah. Okay. So then, while you were cutting with your right hand, how were you stabilizing the sandwich?
Oh, I think you're right. Here, take this one.
No, that's the most disgusting thing ever. Look at your hand all over
fine.
that thing.
Whatever.
I mean,
Then you handle the sandwiches next time. I don't
the
know why
sandwich,
you're such a
it's
germaphobe.
a huge sandwich, but your little hands can barely even get around it. So now you've covered the entire thing. Didn't I say no onions?
Really good.
I know it is, but let me.
Oh, I forgot about your heart. Forgot about the heart problem.
Onions-
HoagiesandHops.com.
Onions have nothing to do with my heart.
42nd Boulevard.
There's not a single thing.
This
on
is like the best tuna sandwich I've ever had before.
There's nothing on this that's bad for my heart.
And you know, we kind of went through like the greatest hits CD of Christina's menu, like Hog Island, Pit Twist, and all of those. The Keystone, the London Broil one, delicious, right? Every sandwich on that menu slaps. Every single one slaps. So down to the veggie, down to the shipper. People don't think of the tuna sandwich, right? It's like the unassuming thing. Well, I don't know if I'm going to get the tuna sandwich. House-made tuna salad, delicious, oil, parm, lettuce, tomato,
it's
onion.
like coma off Use Your Illusion, deep cut, right? You just spilled everywhere.
That's how you know it's a good sandwich.
Huh?
That's how you know it's a good sandwich. When it's a little bit messy, that's how you know.
You need to get control of some things here. We should have a meeting about this.
So I went down to Bloomington. Oh, wait, hold on. First, we got to get our hero of the week. Duh. I ate the sandwich and I didn't do the hero of the week.
Not you for the way you pawed mine.
This could have very easily been Steph Curry again, given his Game 4 performance. But I actually went with a team that we just talked about in Notre Dame baseball. You know, this is only their third College World Series appearance.
That surprises me.
I was led to believe that Notre Dame baseball was like this great program.
Yeah, that surprises me.
And they've won the conference a bunch, and they've been in the postseason, the NCAA tournament a lot, but this is only their third one and their first since 2002,
because this is fabulous.
which is wild. 6-run, 7th inning, and just a crazy comeback and win over a historically great Tennessee team. But that's kind of the blessing and curse of baseball, Jake. It can be a fluky game, right? You're in a series. You have 2 bad days and you're gone.
What, 2 of them?
Well, you're 2 bad days and you're gone. And that's what ended up happening to Tennessee, unfortunately for them. I'm not going to cry any tears for them, though. Because you're right. They were real brash.
Notre Dame is the baseball hero of the college baseball game because not only did they eliminate a team that now sets the table for a Texas A&M or a UConn or an Ole Miss or a Notre Dame or Texas or some of the teams that we know have an Oregon State. So they get rid of the preeminent favorite, but they also get rid of one of the cockiest and most brash teams in college sports.
I think, like, you can be pro having fun and celebrations and all of that while also acknowledging that there needs to be a little bit of a filter, right? You can't just do whatever you want. And I wonder if Tennessee... It's weird for me, Jake, because I've defended this. Like, I think baseball should be fun. I think you should be allowed to celebrate. But when it crosses over into showing somebody up, that's when I start to have a little bit of an issue with it. I don't think you should show up your opponent. I still think that there should be sportsmanship involved, but I think you should have fun and celebrate.
I'm still trying to get over the fact that you literally palmed this sandwich.
It's really good, though, right?
It's fabulous. Yeah. It's good enough that I'm willing to eat it.
Just get the fact that I touched it out of your head.
Have you seen your hands?
I just washed them right before we ended up coming in.
It doesn't matter.
All right, fine.
The hairy knuckles.
You want me to get rubber gloves? I will for next week's sandwich.
If you could,
we'll do that.
That'd be wonderful.
Okay. They have rubber gloves at Hoagies and Hops. I'll get some rubber gloves for you because you're such a baby about it. Hoagiesandhops.com, 42nd and Boulevard. Sorry about this baby co-host here. It's a great sandwich, though.
It's got baby hands all over.
So who cares if I touched it or not? Went down to Bloomington on Saturday just on a lark. Like, we woke up at 7:30 or whatever on Saturday, and Ashley's like, do you want to go down to Bloomington? I was like, okay.
You woke up at 7:30 on Saturday?
Yeah. I wake up at the same time all week long. I don't really sleep in.
Wild night of watching.
I go to bed at the same time, and I wake up at the same time.
Before.
That's part of the reason that I'm in great shape, because I do that. I don't have off hours, so I don't get doughy because my metabolism slows down. But went to the farmer's market and went around. It's weird how different it is. Every time I go down there, we go down there maybe once a year now. They're always building something. Tell me if you agree with this. Bloomington is this weird place for me because I spent 5 years of my life there, and even though it's only an hour away from where I live now, it's like I'm transporting to a person that doesn't exist anymore when I'm down there. Like I get in this like really weird mentality. Like, I'm not old enough to be like the Indiana dad yet, but I'm also not in my 20s anymore.
Right.
And I don't want to be that guy that goes down to Nick's and starts playing like Sink the Biz and get all sloppy on upstairs. Like, that's just, if you do that, that's fine. That's not me. Because I remember when I was 20 and you'd see the old guy at Kilroy's and you're like, I never want to be that guy.
Right.
So I never want to be that guy.
Yeah, I've gone down a couple times and it doesn't, I don't get any emotional investment or attachment to it. It's totally different than, and this is, college towns are like this, Derek. They're constantly cycling through new stuff, right?
Yeah.
And, everything's different than when I was there.
I was going to say, it's almost completely
totally
different from 30 years ago, much less when I was there 15, 20 years ago.
There's still
what it's like.
Little Zagreb's is still there, right?
Yeah.
Trojan Horse?
Yep. All the Malibu Grill, all the mainstays, Nick's, Cafe Pizzeria, they're all still there.
Okay.
Swingin' Pizza's got a brand new,
which one?
Building. The one that used to be when you're going towards Jackson Heights on 17th, the mom and pop place. I think was it called Swingin' Pizza or Drive-In Pizza?
I don't remember that.
Okay. I think they used to be the pizza for the IU players. Next door to Buffalo's.
Okay.
So 17th Street Convenience Mart, right? If you go down a little bit farther, there was a Swing In or whatever it was called pizza, Buffalo's, Jackson Heights on the other side of the road.
Correct.
Yeah.
Jackson Heights now not as nice as when I lived there, right?
Dude.
It was pretty bad when I lived
I went to Varsity Villas, and outside of maybe a single coat of paint, they haven't done anything to that. It looked like a...
now, did they have any football
I can't believe those buildings hadn't been condemned.
Right.
And I spent a lot of... It's not Varsity Villas anymore, whatever it's called, Varsity Courts or whatever they renamed it to.
Right?
I think so. Matlock is gone. The Matlock Courts that were behind there are gone. Yeah.
Woodbridge is gone, right?
They wiped out a lot of that stuff that is on that stretch where the hotels and the gas stations are on whatever road that is, College or Walnut. I always get them mixed up.
That's the one that certain players go 90 miles an hour up, right? And then you never hear from it again?
Yeah, there was a little bit of a discipline issue there.
Was there discipline?
I don't know. Woody has done a nice job cleaning up the program, so don't have to worry about that. Woody's going to take care of all that. Right. But I don't know. Like this was kind of a light sports topic day, so I was thinking to myself, what am I going to put in the notes? And I was like, well, I went to Bloomington, and that's random and weird. But I just feel weird when I'm down there.
I would agree with that. I think you and I are a little bit different, and I can appreciate and I respect that there are a lot of people that like to go back and reminisce about their college days. I totally understand that. A lot of it's probably just based on their college experience. I was just kind of going through the motions when I was down there. So when I go there now, I kind of go through the motions, truth be told.
Yeah.
But I know it's a special place to a lot of people.
Yeah, I guess it's a good thing to say. I don't look at those 5 years as the happiest years of my life. They were great years, but the last 5 years that I've just lived have been the 5 best years of my life, and hopefully the next 5 will be, when I'm reflecting back on it. And I think that's what you kind of want. But I do get really weirdly nostalgic about going past like Ashley's old house on Dodge Street or my 305, the 19th and Lincoln house where I lived with 6 people has been razed, so it doesn't exist anymore, and that makes me sad.
Yeah.
But that place needed to be condemned as well.
They probably should have condemned the apartment I lived in.
Yeah.
But I think they fixed it up.
I was thinking they were going to put a plaque down, but I was the one person that lived downstairs. I had the downstairs bedroom, and I thought they'd put a plaque of where that was because
why?
I thought that needed to be commemorated.
Here is where Blondie Gal coordinate.
Well, no, that relationship was online only.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet Blondie Gal?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I got news for you. That was really Ryan.
Not sure if I did.
Corpus Christi.
Yeah. Well, catfishing wasn't. It was 2002. It was kind of a new time for the internet.
That show,
still
Catfishing, that was on the other day. I haven't seen it in quite some time, and it bugs me how the one guy's following around with the little camcorder thing. And every show's the same. They go to like a Hampton Inn and they're sitting around. They're like, we just can't figure out what's going. Oh, wait a minute, the phone's ringing. Holy cow, it's them, and they're 2 miles away. Everyone,
I hear you.
The show itself is Catfish, right?
Yeah. Quick Hits is next, and we will try to steer this back into being a sports television program.
Did you say earlier something slapped?
Do not touch me. This sandwich slaps. It's Query and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Mm-hmm. Really good.
Calling it time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is good.
There you go.
Oh, wow. Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I
feel a little momentum starting to fall Lynn's way.
That is Wrestler! Wrestler! Whoa!
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Derek, have we solved the mystery? Not mystery. Several people have asked me as to what is said at the end of that commercial.
Yes. Mike Wood himself, father of Walker, who you see there, Mike Wood's son, with Jeff Saturday, said, hey, Jeff, how's this?
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff, how's this?
And
snapping the ball.
Not bad, bub.
Stick to mortgages.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Jeff's a great dude.
That's one of our quick hits, right?
It is. Well, that's actually not one of our quick hits, but the segment that we're about to do is quick hits.
I like that you're immediately flinching at the thought that you might get hit by a tomato.
Well, you have to throw projectiles at me because you would never be man enough to actually come to physical blows with me because you know what the result would be. Stewart Tire and Auto down on the south side of Indianapolis.
Charges against me.
Stop 13 Road. Darren and Crystal King and the entire King family running the show down there at Stewart Tire and Auto, and they'll give you an honest price and great work on your car, whether you need something as simple as an oil change or something more serious than that under the hood. And Jake has had a ton of problems with many Grand Cherokees that he recycles through over the years. Darren has always been your go-to car guy.
Totally. Absolutely the best. And the thing I love about Darren is he's totally honest. You know, he'll say, hey, look, you know what, you can hold off another X number of miles before we do your brakes or, you know, whatever it might be. He's not looking for a buck, quite frankly. And you know, he's looking to help people out, and he's looking to do it because he knows. Darren told me once, he said, Jake, my word is the number one thing that I have. So, you know, certainly he's relying on two things, Darren is, to get his family business to sustain where they are. The first is, you know, the two of us, which means he's got to rely on the other, which is word of mouth and trust.
Well, and this show's brand, yeah. You kind of insinuated that this didn't help Stewart Tire and Auto.
I think people trusting him is probably the safer thing for him, right?
Oh, I agree that's number one, but this would be like 1B to that 1A.
Okay.
Like aligning with there are reasons why all these brands want to align with the rocket ship. They get results. We deliver results.
Okay.
Derek at QuarryandSchultz.com if you want results for your business. Nice. At Stewart Tire and Auto, by the way. Or at Stewart Tire, I should say, on Facebook.
An email that's attached to the show?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Brad, who was our web guy, you remember Brad Shoemaker?
Yes.
He worked at Clear Channel for a while. He actually predated us by a couple of years. He was like, should I create one for Query? This was right after our non-compete ended, so this was like July of 2020. I said, don't even worry about it. It's like, Jake's got a Hotmail account. He's not even going to. And I knew you wouldn't pay for it because I got to pay Google like $9 a month to maintain that email.
You know, I just
and I knew you wouldn't pay for it.
I just found some app that scours through and finds everything that you're paying subscription costs.
I've seen this, yeah.
And then
are you like amazed?
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple of things I'm like, wait a minute, really?
Yeah. See, I watch that stuff like a hawk.
Well, I do too now.
Yeah.
And then it negotiates to lower prices of other things for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You'd like it.
Well, with that IndyCar money that I know that you make on the side, because I saw your paycheck once and I almost passed out. When you have that kind of income coming in, then I can understand why you would have a bunch of like subscriptions and not know.
I do, yeah.
Like $10, whatever a month. Pretty soon, Mr. Penske's going to turn that faucet off, I'm sure.
This one here I kept this one. One where it's a service I pay that blocks certain numbers.
Yeah. That's why you haven't been returning my texts. So Tennessee baseball did not come through, but you know who did? Not on a baseball standpoint, but on a softball standpoint. They lived up to their dominance. Congratulations to Ron Colley. An undefeated season. They capped a 33-0 campaign with a
great pitchers duels in the
16-zip win for their second straight 4A championship. First undefeated season in Indiana softball in 10 years. You have to go back to South Putt in 2012. Keegan Rothrock, who might be pound for pound the single greatest athlete in this state right now, high school athlete. Incredible player going to Florida, Gatorade Player of the Year. How about this for a stat line? First off, she struck out 15 of the 24 batters she faced in that championship game. 28-0 with 381 strikeouts.
That's pretty impressive.
381 strikeouts. It's incredible.
What two schools were it, or was it, whatever, that were in that pitcher's duel that was 0-0, like two no-hitters going through like 7 innings in the softball? Does Greg know?
Oh, I'm not sure. I know Tecumseh won the Class A game, I think.
I gotta look.
I tuned into that for a little bit, but I don't know what the other matchups were. I was following Ron Colley because A, they're Indianapolis, and B, the fact that they could cap an undefeated season I thought was an incredible story. So congratulations to the Royals for that win. You were there at Road America in Wisconsin. Great campground, great place to take your RV and go watch the race. A boomer bust season continues for Joseph Newgarden. I'm not sure. What is he in points now?
He is 3rd or 4th in points.
Okay. And the reason that he's won 3 times, but in the non-win races, he's finished somewhere in the teens. He's had something go wrong.
Correct.
So it's been kind of boomer bust for Newgarden. But kind of the cool thing, Jake, is that now with the win at Road America, he's won on the road, he's won on the street, and he's won on the oval. So he gets $1 million.
Tri-West and St. Joseph, by the way.
Okay. South Bend.
Softball Class 3A state championship. I'm looking to see who won here. St. Joseph freshman Berkeley Zach, Tri-West sophomore, Audrey Lowry, engaged. I'm reading this from the Indianapolis Star. Arguably the greatest pitchers duel in state championship history. 8+ shutout innings, 241 pitches thrown, 161 strikes, and 42 strikeouts. That's impressive.
I missed the race, by the way. Was Road America okay, about usual?
It was good.
Okay.
There was total mayhem at the beginning of the race. There were a lot
I
of...
saw the lights race was a catastrophe, right?
Yeah,
they
Christian
didn't really
Vogel,
know what was going to happen.
Went over the rumble strip and got air in the nose of his car, caught the fencing. Fortunately, he was fine. But it tore out some of the fencing.
They repaired
and
that fence in like an hour. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was. There was a red flag delay. It was a good race, actually. The IndyCar race was a good race as well. That's a great track, 4-mile track, and there are some great passing opportunities, and there were some pretty good battles throughout the race. But Newgarden and Rossi were clearly the class of the field.
So give me the run from here. What is it? Ohio next? Where are you guys going?
4th of July weekend, Independence Day weekend, Mid-Ohio.
Okay.
Correct.
And that's the next race. So they're off
That is
until
the
then?
next race,
Okay.
yep.
Because you've had bang, bang, bang here right in a
Yes.
row. So it'll probably be nice for you to get a little bit of a break. Darius Leonard, quick hit number 3, expected to be ready for the start of the regular season and may not miss practice time either. According to our friend Zach Kiefer of The Athletic, Leonard's ankle issue from last season lingered due to a related issue with his calf. And the calf issue came up due to a nerve issue with his back. So it's
all
like
connected, Derek.
this domino effect that we've had here.
South Bend beat Tri-West.
The Colts believe that Darius Leonard will be ready to practice toward the start of training camp. I'm assuming they're going to handle it kind of with kid gloves.
I would think,
right?
yeah.
Because you want to take it easy after
all
pushing him
connected,
through
though,
it
man.
last year. Yeah. I'm a little bit concerned. I mean, if he could play as hobbled as he was last year at the level that he did, then
But Derek,
that's encouraging.
Your back, though, once it starts
Yeah.
there, man.
Yeah, your body's going to break down.
Right.
And they just signed that extension, you know what I mean? They need to squeeze everything that they can out of him. I had a story about bat rabies as well, but I think I'm going to leave that one out of quick hits. Apparently, at the Malibu Cafe, not in Bloomington, a bat was handled by some people, including children. I couldn't find a reason why a bat would have been handled by some people. But they evacuated the restaurant, and they're having everybody get tested for rabies, and they were hoping that there was no breakout of rabies in L.A. County.
Was the bat in need? Was it hurt?
We don't know. We don't have any details about the bat outside of the fact that there was a bat, and it was in Los Angeles, and somebody or some buddies touched it. I don't really know if this is a laughing matter. It's actually kind of a serious thing. You know, rabies has largely been eradicated, but
Whenever
this
you
is
mention
still
a bat and buddy.
Okay. Yeah, you want to tell your story of this is another situation where a human was harmed. So you can tell that if you want.
The Louisville River bat mascot.
Yeah, I'm aware
Buddy,
of the story. Yeah.
Buddy the bat. But he's a bat. He's not a baseball bat. He's a bat.
Yeah.
And he
got hurt.
He took the go-kart out on the track.
Jake is the kind of person that finds it funny when people get injured.
He got a little hot on the warning track.
Yeah, everybody knows the story.
Flipped.
If you're even into what minute is this? 55 break? Minute 55 of this show? Chances are you're a diehard listener, so you know every single detail of this story.
The wheel was going
Okay.
in his little wing.
Bite or bowl bleep when we come back,
Don't
and
worry,
we will
kids.
wrap up for the day.
Buddies on his
It's
way
Corey
out
and
to
Schultz,
hell.
ISC Sports Network.
You brought it up.
These story times, my God.
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Welcome back to Query and Schultz. It is time for our WGU Indiana Sage Move of the Week here on the program. WGU Indiana, by the way, is Indiana's largest online accredited university. Did you know that over 700,000 Hoosiers in the state of Indiana have college credits out there that are sitting on a shelf, but they have not actually put them to use towards a college degree? It may be that you are one of those that life got in the way, whether it was monetary, whether it be circumstantial, that you started out with your college classes and then decided to go ahead and get back to that at a later time. Or it might be that you just thought college was never right for you or your schedule. Well, don't think that anymore, because WGU is Indiana's largest online accredited university where you can go and either get that associate's degree or finish your way through to a bachelor's degree. Might be certification for a career that you're in currently. WGU, ambition never rests, and that's why WGU is an outstanding option. They bring you our Sage move of the week. Sage, of course, is the mascot for WGU because, like an owl, head on a swivel, always looking for new opportunities.
Yeah, and this is a Sage move, not because it's necessarily wise, but it's always good to go out on your own terms, and I think he probably feels like he's done all that he could do. Full disclosure, this is somebody that both of us feel like we have somewhat of a friendship with, just from all the years and interacting with him. So I might feel kind of biased in singing the praises of Mitch Daniels. But as you may have seen late last week, Mitch Daniels is stepping down at the end of 2022 as the president of Purdue University. And I think largely has done a nice job, just like he did a nice job as the governor of our state when he did that in the 2000s. I'm not going to speak to the, backup boiler and some other things like that. There was some good, there was some bad during his tenure at Purdue. I will say this from an athletic standpoint, Jake, and you know this, when we were working for WNDE and we were the affiliate for Purdue back in 2013 when Mitch Daniels took this job, Purdue athletics was a disaster.
Right.
Like the football program was, outside of Kansas, the worst major program in America. That was that weird 2-year stint post Hummel, Moore, Johnson, where Matt Painter was trying to find his way, and you had Ronnie Johnson and those teams that weren't any good, that missed the tournament. One of them finished in last place in the Big Ten. And, the Morgan Burke, rest his soul, Morgan Burke era had reached its expiration date probably several years before that, and they were still kind of trapped in the old ways of athletics. And now you go to Purdue, and their facilities are incredible.
Correct.
And Mike Babinski has done a fantastic job as the athletic director.
Guy.
And
Yep.
men's basketball is cooking, and football has turned the corner, and volleyball is still like it always has been. And there are other sports, too, have real momentum. Baseball. I think they actually had a competent soccer season for the first time. I've never thought of Purdue as being a soccer school at all. So there are a lot of good things happening at Purdue. Mitch Daniels doesn't get sole credit for that, but I do think that he does get some of it.
I do think that, Derek, you're right. Like anything, there's polarization, right? So, in terms of the tuition freezes, that's good.
Yeah.
In terms of some of what maybe facilitated for that to happen, people would tell you that there were challenges there. But I do think that Purdue, from an international standpoint in particular, their brand was elevated and escalated under Mitch Daniels. And a lot of people, their business school has become one of the best, right on par probably with Indiana. I know people hate hearing me say that, but that's the reality.
Cranner, right?
They've done a great job. So, listen, always been very nice to us and a fun personality, and hopefully can now see all the Dodgers games he'd like, right?
Yeah. There's been some question, is he going to get back involved in politics? He's 73. Our president's pretty old too, and a lot of the old guard in the Congress is pretty old too, but I don't think Mitch Daniels has any interest in jumping back into that again.
Right.
It's a much different place, even
It is.
in compared to where it was in 2005. It's a much different place now. So congratulations to Mitch on a nice decade-long run there. I just remember doing the show for Mackey, and they were like, well, Mitch Daniels wants to come on the show. And you were like, he knows who we are? And
Yeah.
I knew that he knew, because most people know. But remember, he walked up with a couple of beers. He had a six-pack. And he's just walking down the steps at Mackey and came on the show and threw us each a beer. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Just laid back, having a conversation. So.
He and I have something in common.
You're both somewhat related to a politician?
True, but
I guess he's the politician that he's related. He's related to himself. No, tell me.
Both
North Central.
That is correct.
Okay. Both North Central graduates.
That is correct.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and you're in that Hall of Fame too, aren't you now?
What's that?
You're in that Hall of Fame there too.
Wall of Fame.
Yeah. Somebody campaigned for it.
You are.
Normally, you wait for North Central to just kind of contact you, but you kind of campaigned for it. Yeah.
How's the campaign going for the Trumbull High Hall of Fame?
We don't have one right now.
Oh, really?
But I'm trying to build one and have me be the Babe Ruth, the inaugural member of the Trumbull High Hall of Fame.
So that's kind of like campaigning for it, right?
No, this is different because this is a grassroots marketing effort just to create a Hall of Fame.
Okay.
But part of my compensation for that effort is I have to be in the Hall of Fame.
Who would be in it with you?
Oh, a ton of people. Yeah, lots of famous people. Vanessa Brzezinski, who was a all Big East performer at Notre Dame, soccer.
She attractive?
Great soccer player. Yeah, Vanessa. She was 2 years old. She was class of 99, so she was 2 years older than me.
Okay.
Craig Breslow, journeyman pitcher, Red Sox, a couple of other places, now retired, went to Yale.
Okay.
Was a really good. Those are the two athletes. Kevin Nealon's parents, who I don't think graduated from Trumbull High, but Kevin Nealon was at St. Joseph High School, which is across the street, so it's close enough to Trumbull High. So maybe Kevin Nealon you could put in there just for overall impact. Chris Drury actually went to Fairfield Preparatory Academy, but he's from Trumbull, so maybe you just put him in the Trumbull High Hall of Fame.
People that played
so there are a lot of people that
What about
you
the
would
guy that
include.
got suspended for dressing himself in tinfoil or running out and interrupting the game?
Mark McKeel probably would not qualify for, he's a financial consultant now.
By the way, are we doing Bite or Bullshits?
Well, yeah, we're doing Bite or Bold Bleep. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Of course. Got to end the show with it. It's
All
the
right.
capper. Brought to you by our friends at Chateau Kitchen, chateaukitchens.com, at Chateau Kitchens on Instagram.
No naked pictures of Derek this
and
week.
Facebook.
Thank
There
goodness.
have never been naked pictures on this show. It was me emerging from the shower. That's all there was. It was a promotional picture is what it's called. I was thinking about putting that on Insta and throwing it in my reel, too, and just doing some effects on it, like on the strands of chest hair, maybe. But I don't know. I kind of forgot about that. Maybe I'll revisit that project later this week. Anything on the interior of your home. Yes, it says kitchens, but it's also and home remodeling. So bathrooms, they've done a guest bathroom for us. They've done a kitchen for us. They might do the basement for us. We're in the process of going through that and seeing what it's going to cost. And if we can even do it, it's a quirky old house with a weird old basement. So we're trying to figure out what works logistically for that. But if you've got a project going on at your house, chateaukitchens.com. Give Steven and his crew a call or a shout today to come out to yours. Here's what we do with Bite or Bold Bleep. I'll give a statement. Jake and I go back and forth whether we buy it or it's Bold Bleep. You ready for statement one?
Yep.
Ooh, this may age poorly if Boston wins tonight. The Tatum Brown Smart Core won't ever win an NBA title. Buy it or Bold Bleep?
No, it's Bullshits. They'll win one.
Is it going to be this year? You still think they're going to win it?
I said they'd win it in 6. I don't know.
I felt really confident going into this series that Golden State was the better team, and now I'm like the complete opposite way. Like, I get Steph is Steph, and he's the best player in the series, so if he goes off, they're going to win. But to me, Steph Curry's going to have to drop 40 2 more times in order for Golden State to win, and that's asking an awful lot. Like, I'm convinced that Boston's the better team. I think they have a lot more margin for error than Golden State does. If you have, like, if Steph goes 7 of 30, they've got no prayer of winning to me, unless Klay Thompson or somebody, Poole or somebody like that does something stupid.
Right.
So I'm going to say no because I actually think that Boston's going to win. I do. Okay. I think they're going to steal one of these in Oakland. I don't know if it's going to be tonight, but I think they're going to steal one of these and then win games in Boston. Statement 2, Indiana should be the basketball favorite in the Big Ten next year. Buy it or Bold Bleep?
Yeah, I buy that.
I'm a little surprised that, and I guess it's kind of a hodgepodge behind them, but like a lot of people are like, well, you know, don't forget about Illinois. And I'm looking at Illinois' roster, and I'm like, I don't know what their recruiting class is like, but they're losing a lot from their roster compared to, you know, Indiana's losing barely anything from their roster. It's almost like Indiana by default, because Trace Jackson Davis and everybody else is coming back and they have a well-regarded recruiting class, is considered that favorite. But to me, I don't know. The Big Ten, I think unlike last year, because at times Purdue looked like a national contender, I think you're going to have another year like the Big Ten had this year, where you had a bunch of teams at the top that are pretty good,
right,
that are between the 12th and 25th best teams in the country, and you don't have a title contender. Because that's ultimately what you ended up with this year, right?
I think Indiana's going to be really good.
We kept hoping that Purdue was going to be that title contender, but ultimately they were like on the next crust. They peaked on December 5th, and that's never what you want to do. Statement 3, I feel like I'm kind of learning this the hard way. Unplugging from cable isn't worth it anymore. Buy it or Bold Bleep? Does Shannon have cable?
Yeah, yes. So
okay.
I don't know the answer to that. I mean,
yeah, you have a 2-bedroom apartment where you live alone. It's kind of sad. But you spend time with somebody who's a cable subscriber.
With everything.
So I thought, yeah.
Like every app known to man.
Okay. So do you subscribe to the apps or does Shannon?
No, they're just on there. I don't know.
So that means she subscribes to them.
I guess. I mean, last night I watched a sitcom out of Bangladesh.
I don't know. You might not want to answer this. You're almost a 50-year-old man. Do you like split any bills or anything? You're over there all the time. So, like, on a day like today where it's oppressively hot, like, do you help out with the AC bill? I know Shannon is her own provider. She provides for herself and takes care of herself. She's an independent woman, but, like, I know you don't do any housework or cut the lawn or really provide any sort of
on how cooled off I am from the pool
service at all to really her life outside of companionship. So I didn't know if there was something that you brought to the table.
I brought back ketchup flavored potato chips from Canada.
Ugh. Were they gross?
No, they're great.
Ugh. I'm not like, my wife is repulsed by ketchup. I'm fine with ketchup, but ketchup flavored sounds, ugh. I don't want that. I think I'm actually going to go back. I've been unplugged from cable for 10 years, and I think I'm just going to go back. I added it up with HBO Max, with Hulu, with everything else. I'm like, I got Peacock for the IndyCar races and all of that, and it's not worth it. By the way, did you see the THR problem? They had some like paid programming on, and they're like, we're required to do. Yeah, that's fine, but why is every other NBC affiliate somehow taking pre-race and Indianapolis is not? How is that possible?
They had to get that programming in by a certain time period of the week, and they had run out of time, so they had to.
Well, you gotta make that work. You gotta see that. But then again, we know this from working in corporate radio. The people that are making those decisions a lot of times aren't in Indianapolis. So it's tough when you've got a parent company that is somewhat asleep at the wheel, which I'm sure is the case. I'm not going to pretend to intimately know what's going on there, but seems like that's the case everywhere. Thanks to all of our sponsors, Bailey & Wood Financial Group, Chateau Kitchens, you see them right behind me, Lou Malnati's and the Lou's Pies, delicious. Thank you to the Jennifers for bringing those in. Stewart Tire and Auto, Hoagies and Hops, Chili Water Brew, through Hoagies and Hops, one of our sponsors. WGU Indiana, Love Heating and Cooling. I think I got everybody right.
Okay.
Thanks to Alan Hughes. Thanks to Greg Rakestraw. I guess thanks to you for showing up and being on time. I guess that's one service that you provide, at least for this show. For Jake Query, I'm Derek Schultz. Have a great week.
Split the bill.
Stay cool. We will see you next time here on QNS, ISC Sports Network.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
But calling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is good.
There you go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
Wrestler!
Wrestler!
Whoa!
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Wherever you find your favorite app, and you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.